Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says his country will set up a dozen observation posts across northeast Syria. He's insisting that a planned safe zone will extend much further than US officials say. Less than 24 hours after he agreed a 5-day truce, President Erdogan outlined Ankara's ambition to establish a presence across 300 miles. That's more than 480 kilometers of territory inside Syria. Meanwhile, the UN says some fighting continued on Friday in northeast Syria, but most other regions appeared calm. Over 16,000 people are reported to have been displaced from their homes in the recent Turkish offensive. Mihal Badvid has more details from Şanlıurfa in Turkey.
There were reports of violations of the agreements on Saturday morning, with gunfire and shellings being heard inside the Syrian town of Ras Al-Ain. Also later, there was a statement by Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, who rejected these claims. He stated that he had talked to Turkey's defense minister, who had told him that no clashes had taken place. However, later there was an update from US President Donald Trump.
We're doing very, very well with Turkey. There's a ceasefire or a pause or whatever you want to call it. There was some sniper fire this morning. There was mortar fire this morning that was eliminated quickly. And they're back to the full pause.
So now there are 4 days to go until the YPG has to withdraw from that area that Turkey wants to establish a safe zone. In the meantime, the Turkish military is going to stay put in that region, but suspend all military action. And if all goes well, it's expected to halt the offensive after the deadline as passed on the October 22nd on Tuesday. Meanwhile, there was a statement made by the Syrian Kurdish leader from the YPG, the commander Mazlum Abdi, who stated that their forces would be abiding by the agreement between Turkey and the United States. But before the latest agreement between the U.S. and Turkey, the YPG, left with no protection when the United States decided to pull out, struck a deal with the Syrian government to protect themselves from the Turkish offensive. That's why now the Syrian government has deployed some of its army troops in specific towns inside Syria, in critical towns such as Manbij. Now, on Tuesday, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan is headed to Russia to discuss the future of these towns with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Bizim oralarda kalmak gibi bir derdimiz de yok.
We have no goal to remain in those areas. We are not there, actually. But we also discuss with Mr. Putin. If terror groups are cleared from Ain al-Arab or Kobani, there will be no problem. As long as the terror groups are cleared from these areas, we have no goal to remain.
So now we expect Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan to sign a deal potentially with Russian President Vladimir Putin regarding the YPG potentially to withdraw from the areas that the Syrian government has now deployed its army forces. So it's going to be critical to see what happens on Tuesday once the deadline ends and Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan heads to Russia. I'm Mihal Badvid for CGTN in Şanlıurfa, Turkey.